it's me, Kathy Griffin, and I'm doing my first Periscope live Q&A. And I'm doing it because as long as I've been doing stand-up, my 95-year-old alcoholic mother, Maggie, whom I know you love, has said, I don't see why you have to stand there and say things about celebrities and tell stories from your life. You should just do a Q&A, which I've always found amusing, that she thought, you know, being a stand-up comic was just standing there doing a Q&A. Except now I'm actually going to do one. And I understand I'm supposed to do shout-outs. So I'd like to do a shout-out to, I actually have my staffers here. And because the font is too small for me to follow, even though I have a much younger boyfriend, still, you know, the font can be too small for Mrs. Kathy. And, well, my first shout-out would be the Backstreet Boys, because I'm proudly wearing their t-shirt. So, who can I give a shout-out to?
Well, Gary wants to know if you're going to be performing on another gay cruise anytime soon.
Hello, Gary. Shout-out to you. I will probably perform on another gay cruise. I am what you call a gay cruise veteran. I am the A in LGBTQIA2, and that means ally, as far as I know. And I enjoy performing on gay cruises because, as I've often said, there is nothing like a gay audience, because there's nothing I can say to that community that can shock them.
Is That Michael wants to know if you're ever going to be performing in the UK again.
Hello, is that Michael? Yes, of course. I played the Palace in London, like I'm frickin' Liza, and I will be back there. And what I like about performing in the UK is that they like me to take the piss out of things, is an expression. That's also more of an Australian expression.
Why Priscilla wants to know what your next project is.
Is that White Priscilla?
Why Priscilla?
Okay, that's a little racist, because I thought somebody wanted to be White Priscilla. And let me just stop for a minute and talk about Drake and Madonna. All right? And why Priscilla, I'll get to you in a minute. You know, I'm not happy with Drake's response. And I know he's trying to make it all better, and Team Drake is trying to say he liked it. But you know what? I did not like that face that he gave my Madonna after she graced him with her lips for 10 seconds. And now he's trying to make it sound like he's with her, you know, 100, as the kids say. So when I make out with, I don't know, is it Josh from Josh and Drake? Is it the same Drake? I don't know. I expect him to say, thank you, Mrs. Kathy. What an honor to have your tongue down my throat. So Drake, you're on my list. I've got my eye on you. You better not screw this up. Madonna, of course I love you. I'm a gay man. That's my job.
Crazy Alley Cat wants to know, do you miss the D-list, and have you considered another scripted series?
Oh, hello, Crazy
Alley Cat.
Hi, Crazy Alley Cat. No, I would not do a reality show again. However, I have many projects in development. That's a very Hollywood term, and I'm very excited about that. So I actually have 2 scripted shows that I'm working on co-writing. And then get this. One of them is a semi-autobiographical story about my life prior to the D-list, when I was young and innocent and hadn't banged so many men yet. And then another one is like a really darker cable version, also semi-autobiographical, about my life post the D-list. So I like to think of it as like the Carrie Diaries, you know, is one version. And then after that would be like a Better Call Saul, like a cable darker version.
Perfect. Ohio Cigar wants to know if you're
Ohio Cigar.
Are you going to incorporate Hillary Clinton into your act?
Yes, I will happily incorporate Hillary Clinton into my act, as she will become the President of the United States. Now look, I know I've just lost half my audience, you sexist fuckers, but look, it's over for the men. It's time for there to be a female president, a female vice president, female everything. All right, so you know I'm very down with the hashtag feminism, and I do not want to hear everybody's bitching and moaning about Hillary, because Sarah Palin was not what we had in mind when we feminists wanted a female president. So Hillary is the most accomplished person to ever run for that office. So you don't have to be political to say it's time for a woman.
Jeff Murdoch 12 wants to know if you ever considered doing a serious movie role.
Hello, Jeff Murdoch 12. As a matter of fact, you know what's funny is I actually have a meeting with Diablo Cody today, who who wrote Juno and has an Academy Award. How about that? Yes, I would love to do My Precious. I would love to follow in the tradition of many, many comedians that have done that unexpected movie role, like, Andrew Dice Clay in Blue Jasmine, or Louis C.K. in American Hustle, and of course, Monique in Precious. So yes, I am looking for My Precious. I would love to try to do that.
I missed the screen name, so I apologize, but someone wants to know if you're excited for the Bruce Jenner and Diane Sawyer interview.
I am beyond excited for the Bruce Jenner-Diane Sawyer interview, although it's really just Bruce on the loose, as far as I'm concerned. And what I am fascinated by is Bruce's story finally being told, because, I don't like the way that they've treated him on The Kardashians. Ever since season 1, and I admit I've watched them all, they kind of act like he's like this annoying guy who hung around the house. But, last time I checked, he was an Olympic champion, and the rest of those Kardashians shop and get their nails done. So I'm very excited that Bruce is going to have his time, and he will then transition into whatever the fuck he wants to be, because he's earned it.
Pet RW 2001 wants to know if there's anyone in Hollywood that you're scared of.
Hi, Pet RW 2001, I think what it was. Yeah, I'm scared of a lot of people in Hollywood. I'm scared of, Oprah. I mean, she's more Montecito, but of course I'm scared of her. I used to be scared of Ryan Seacrest, but now she and I have kind of become frenemies. We get along. I think it changes, on a joke-by-joke basis. But, I'm scared of, like, a lot of things. I count a lot of comedy as fear-driven.
Well, Kale_yoga wants to know if you have any celebrity crushes.
Kale_yoga, you better be from California, because being a Chicagoan, that's a very just California even screen name to have. I have many celebrity crushes. I used to start out with Crispin Glover. When I was younger, all my friends thought I was crazy because he's known to be kind of, how shall I say, eccentric. If you remember him going on the David Letterman show classically and almost kicking David Letterman in the face. But now, my celebrity crushes are a little off the beaten path. Like, I know I should say Channing Tatum, but I can't, because last time I talked to Channing, I was jokingly saying, what have you been up to? It seems like you haven't really made anything of yourself. And without any irony, he goes, Mike 2. Like he calls Magic Mike 2, Mike 2, Mike 2. So I would say my celebrity crush would be Charles Osgood from CBS Sunday Morning. I also like Professor David Gergen, who is a CNN contributor a lot of times. And by the way, I know that everyone who's on Periscope does not know who these people are. So I have odd crushes. I always have.
It's Taryn James wants to know if you would ever host the Oscars.
Hello, it's Taryn James. I would love to host any award show. I've hosted the Billboard Music Awards. I've hosted the Daytime Emmys. The Oscars would be, I'm going to admit, a tough sell for me because it's such a stiff crowd. But I think the Golden Globes, they like to have fun, and obviously, anything at MTV. I mean, people forget that Roseanne hosted the Video Music Awards when she was, let's just say, over 40. And obviously, there's a lot of ageism in Hollywood. But you know what? When you look at the dudes doing it, I mean, my beloved Steve Martin is definitely older than any woman who's probably ever done it. So, yes, it's our time.
Paul Claus wants to know, just what are your thoughts on Justin Bieber?
Hi, Paul Claus. Are you related to Santa or Mrs.? My thoughts on Justin Bieber are ever changing. I am fascinated by his new hair, obviously, and also I don't like it. I made fun of the bangs, and then I made fun of the second incarnation where it was kind of went back. But now that it's just a pixie, I'm confused by what Justine is going through, and I don't like people getting into fights at Coachella. I really don't. But I do pity his neighbors. Like that's my nightmare, to build my dream home, and then Biebs moves in next door, and then it's helicopters and eggs and Kendall Jenner. And I call her Candle, just to irritate her. I know her name is Kendall, but I like to call her Candle, because I think it'd be funny if someone named their kid Candle.
Stretch Dog wants to know what's the real dirt on Anderson Cooper.
Well, hi, Stretch Dog. That sounds like something that, like Kourtney Kardashian would have on her stomach. Because I saw an episode of the Kardashians where I believe Kim was actually yelling at Kourtney Kardashian for having stretch marks. So, by the way, welcome to the world we live in. The real scoop on Anderson Cooper is that I love him, and I think I've given up on the chances of the two of us having vaginal sex. But I love him like a brother. And at the same time, I would like to get him fired and ruin him. I love him, and I like to make him cry. I adore him, and I like to dye his hair without telling him. You know, it's a deep, deep relationship. There are many, many layers to that onion, and I've peeled off almost every one.
Buckeye Gal 29 wants to know.
Buckeye Gal 29 is obviously a lesbian. So hello and welcome. I never met a lesbian I didn't like.
Have you watched Married at First Sight?
I love Married at First Sight. It is disgusting because like I said, I talk a lot about women's rights and equality. So I don't know what happened to equal rights now that we're back to mail order brides and child brides. And, it's horrifying to me that it's so hard to meet somebody in the digital age that now people are just agreeing to get married to a complete stranger. But, all right, I watch it.
Chef Arose wants to know, what do you think about Taylor Swift and Calvin Harris?
Well, Chef Arose, I'd like you to make me dinner, first of all, before you get cocky with your Taylor Swift question. But are you asking me about Taylor and Calvin Harris? Well, I think that one really has legs. Come on, let's cut the shit. I mean, I'm suspicious of people that only date famous people. I date civilians, as I lovingly say. You're not going to catch me. Look, I could bang any DJ I want. You call Steve Aoki, or Avicii, or DJ Boombox. All right, I made that one up. The point is, you know what? I'm a fool for love, actual love. I don't know, maybe they'll last.
MPN Janelli just wants to thank you for everything you do with veterans.
Thank you, MGM Vanelli. So I totally got that wrong. I'm sorry. Well, thank you very much. Yes, I performed in Iraq and Afghanistan and at Walter Reed, and I have learned so much for performing for our brave men and women of the armed services, and I have vets and active service members at every single live show that I do. And I'm doing, by the way, I think I'm doing 80 cities this year. And I'm doing everything from the Kennedy Center in June, which is very prestigious. I might actually try to give myself the Kennedy Center honor that night, because that might be the only way I can get it. And I'm also happy to be at your local, casino or performing arts center. But seriously, go to kathygriffin.com, and I am truly coming to a city near you because I love touring. I love the uncensored nature of touring. It's always going to be the muscle that I keep fit, and I don't hold back at all.
Candy Perfume Boy.
Candy Perfume Boy, I'm going to say, is a member of the community, if you know what I'm saying.
Who was your favorite guest on the Kathy Show?
Oh my gosh, I had so many amazing guests on the Kathy Show. It was only 2 seasons on Bravo, but I had everyone from Jane Fonda to Aubrey Plaza to Christopher Noth to, oh my gosh, it was such a great wide array of characters. It was Johnny Weir and Carmen Electra and, Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman together. They're married. A lot of people don't even know that. That's what was really fun about that. I actually have 2 projects in the works right now that are talk and game show hybrids. So I love the idea of maybe hosting a game show where I get to improvise. And there's 2 different projects that I might end up doing that have those elements. I love to improvise. I love talking to real people. I love talking to celebrities. I love game shows. But I think there's a great space where you can do both if you have someone like myself who enjoys being off script.
Candy Fairy 16 and Michelle 5481 both want to know how Maggie's doing.
Your beloved Maggie is a little tipsy right now. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. She's doing great. I do a bit in one of my 23 televised specials. No, wait, I have 20 that are televised and then 3 CDs. Anyway, I do a bit about how in her retirement village, it's kind of like Heather's, and that my mom is kind of the Shannon Doherty, frankly. And if you haven't been to a retirement village, don't be afraid, you should go. And so my mom emailed me last night in all caps, and she said, one of the ladies at my table said that you did a bit in one of your comedy shows about how we're all like the Weathers. We were all laughing. What are the Weathers? So she doesn't know the movie Heathers. So now I have to pull the box of wine away and say, yes, Mom, there's a movie called Weathers, and it's about gentle and loving older people that enjoy a drink and curse a lot, just to get her through the day.
23MAA wants to know if you're going to write another book.
Hello, 23MAA. Yes, I will absolutely do another book. I mean, I could do a novelty type of book, or I have had many, many crazy things happen to me since my New York Times #1 bestseller, Kathy Griffin, official book club selection, which was not technically on the Oprah book list. But yes, I will do another book when the time is right. And I've been gathering stories. Because I'm one of those people that's like a crazy magnet. So crazy things come to me, and I also run toward crazy. And I find that amusing.
Four Eyes wants to hear your Cher impression.
Hello, Four Eyes. Well, I'm happy to do my horrible Cher impression because Cher loves to tell me how bad it is. So, for example, I went to the Fleetwood Mac concert last Friday, and I got to spend some time with Stevie Nicks backstage. And we then sent a photo to Cher, and Cher said, I've always liked Stevie. She's a nice girl. She's one of the good ones. She's a really good singer. Her voice is very unique. I'm Cher, bitch. And Cher often just punctuates a conversation with saying, I'm Cher, bitch, as if we don't know. I have to wrap up soon because this is live streaming, but you can also see it, I think, on my website later. Yes, you can go to kathygriffin.com at some point. And if not, you can come see me this Saturday night at the Mirage in Vegas. Look at where I'm going: Fort Lauderdale, Knoxville, Washington, D.C., Elizabeth, Indiana, Virginia Beach, Billings, Montana, Mount Pleasant, Michigan. This is like a very tiny portion of my tour. But come see me. I'm going to 80 freaking cities, for God's sake. All right, bye, you guys. See you next time.